Okay, so my idea for Pokemon, for this is for Gen 10 specifically. I think that if Pokemon Champions comes out and is able to hold its own as like the new standard for competitive format, that Gen 11 and onwards could really see big changes. But I'm thinking Gen 10 specifically, a way to kind of change the formula a bit without making drastic changes that would alienate fans that do like the current setup. And it is the biggest selling franchise in the world, so I don't see them wanting to deviate that much, anyways. But there are three main like pillars that I think where things can kind of be tweaked slightly to make big differences. First, I would say the gyms, where the gyms can be taken on in any order. Maybe like the first two and the last two are set, and then the four in the middle, you have like four different teams for each. So if you fight, whoever you fight in the third will have a team based on if they were the third gym leader. And then whoever you fight fourth will fight with that fourth gym level team. That way you can actually go to any gym and fight them in order. Ideally, it would be all eight, and you can just have free roam of the world like Scarlet and Violet promised. Might be a little bit difficult, and I think that also you would want to make sure that their ace is a Pokemon from that gen. That way you're showing off the new Pokemon. It is not always an issue, but I remember like Gen 2, most gym leaders, if I remember correctly, they all had like Gen 1 Pokemon. And that's not fun. You want to explore this new world. You want to see these new Pokemon in action. You want to see how they can be used. The second thing is the rival. Started off, the rival was like smell you later, Gramps, just a straight up ass. And then as it went on, they became less antagonistic, a little more friendly, and then they're your best friends. And then they're just like people that want to fight alongside you. And I think it would be interesting to, for Gen 10, the Wind and Waves Gen or whatever they're planning on calling it, that antagonist, maybe he starts off with you, kind of like Hop, like y'all are best friends, but he gets picked up by whatever the Gen 10 evil team is. So it's him trying to convince you that like the new Team Rocket is the actual way to go. And even if he's reluctant, like he will fight you because he believes in what he's saying. I think that that would be a more interesting story beat, and it doesn't have to get too deep because it is a game for literal children. If you can read, you can play Pokemon. So that way, it's like, oh, well, he likes this group, and this group believes this, and then you're playing through your story, and you're able to kind of have that rivalry and show how things could be different if you made different choices. And then the third thing I think is the post game. I think that after you beat the eight gyms, fight the Elite Four, take on the champion, they'll bring out like a post game situation, like the whether it's the Mega Dimensions or the Ultra Space Wormholes, like a good post game. You can play through that. You get the second roll of credits, and then after that, you can find any Pokemon. You can have the Shiny Charm. Like you can do everything. The game is fully open to you. There is an optional, we'll call it Champion Challenge. So you can fight each of the eight gyms again, and then fight the Elite Four and a champion, and they all have like level 70 competitive teams. They would still be their gyms, so it'd still be like a rock type, and so it'd be rock type specialist, electric specialist, whatever they are, and so it wouldn't be impossible. And maybe you're locked to like level 75, so you can have a little bit of a level advantage, but they really are EV and IV. They have like balance. They have a favorable nature. They're holding items. That way you can get like an actual challenge out of it. And that would be something for the people that have played the game for 30 years, more than for the kids. But I don't want to punish people that, like, if it is a 6-year-old that's playing the game that can't beat these people. I don't want them to not be able to play every part of the game. I don't want them to be able to enjoy it. So I think if that's like a completely optional point, and then if you make it through and then you get the Champions Challenge and you beat that Elite Four and the champion, then you get like a ribbon or something in your Pokedex that says like Champion Challenge winner. So that way you can show it off, you can say you've completed it, and then it won't detract from or take away from anything that like 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds who don't understand competitive viability. Another two things with Pokemon, I think that they should make another Eevee type. Have a new evolution, but instead of making it Eevees, make it rough fur, RUFUR or FURUF, fur rough, and have it to where that is the next set of branched evolutions. So that could be like a fighting type or like a ground type, ghost, poison, rock, ground, just all of the other types. So that way Eevee gets a little bit of a break. The creative team that is making these evolutions have a little bit more freedom, or they can kind of tread new ideas. The problem with that is the Pokemon I picture in my head is straight up Rockruff, but maybe without like the rocks in its beard. It just has like, or in its mane, and it just has like a little orange patch to symbolize it's a fighting type. So they would need to come up with something creative to not make it exactly Rockruff, but then they would have that to where they can continue the evolutions essentially, but have it with some new design, and then make cute Pokemon. There are like Ceruledge and Armarouge, like badass Pokemon, and then there are like within the starter trio, you have humanoid for a lot of them, or sticking with animals for a few, like Skeledirge, I love, but Fuecoco was a cute, dopey looking thing, and then it turned into Skeledirge, which at a glance looks intimidating. He's actually hilarious, and I love him. Then you have like Meowscarada, Quavaqual, which Sprigatito was adorable, the cutest little grass cat Pokemon. But if you pick it and then it turns into Meowscarada, you no longer have a cute little grass cat Pokemon. You have like this weird, like masked French dancer or whatever. I think like if you have a cute Pokemon, have it evolve and still be cute. And then you can have one Pokemon that's kind of cool looking and turns out to be badass. And then you have one that's kind of middle of the road, one that people are a little more used to. Allow people, because I know people that like Pokemon because they're cute Pokemon, and that's not a problem. I like competitive viability, but I do have specific Pokemon that I like. But there are people that like specifically the Armarouge, Ceruledge, Machamp types. You know who you are and you know why you are, and we need to talk about that. I'm thinking that with Pokemon Champions, if it does become the staple standard, then Gen 11 and 12 and so on, like those can have big big changes in them because they will not have to focus as neatly. But until then, for Gen 10, this is my idea. This is what I'm thinking is going on. So that's, I guess, my hope. It's not my dream Pokemon game, but it is what I think would work in the franchise. But those are my ideas. I love you. Keep it gangster.